All right. I know you guys didn't see the last video probably because I commentated on it.
Oh, I watched it,
You
but
watched
it's been a while.
Okay, so you know, you know what's going on here. I was desperately trying to just get stuff done. So the last video ended on a cliffhanger where I screwed up the fretboard and had to unglue it.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Yep.
I used acetone and a scraper. So this is you can see right there, it ripped out. So I filled that with sawdust and glue.
So this is the repair.
This is my way to repair it, was to take a completely different piece of wood, Wenge, and then I glued them together. And I was like, okay, this will have a cool effect, because you've got one strip and then another strip.
The two tones.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yep.
Cool. Did you like how it came out?
Well, we will see.
Okay.
We will see how it came out. I don't want to spoil it because people would stop watching the video right now if I tell you. We want suspense, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Creating that suspense.
So those are radius blocks. They got a curve on them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm using as my clamping cauls to keep everything down. This is after I glued it onto... Actually, that was me measuring things out. Now I'm gluing it to the neck. So that's what it looks like.
We're using the rotary tool on the neck?
Yeah, there was a nail I couldn't get out.
Oh, okay.
And I was trying to grind the nail out.
Okay.
That's how the nail... So I used two nails. Usually one there you can see, and then one at the opposite end. And then I puncture them through. So when I glue it, it will hold everything exactly where I want it. Because you cannot have the measurement of your fret markers. You can't have that off at this point.
Okay.
There's no correcting it.
And what was the dust you were putting on? Is that just
So it wasn't completely level.
Oh.
And I couldn't take any more off of it. And it had just a tiny little drop. So to make it level, I grinded up a bunch of sawdust of the same wood and threw it down on the glue, and then put more glue, and then...
And it worked?
Yes,
cool.
That did work very well.
Cool.
See, I'm jamming more sawdust in there.
Yeah.
You can't tell. Like, if you look at it now, you have no idea that...
That's cool. I'm liking the look of it. You can kind of see how it's going to turn out.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. It was very worrisome.
I can imagine.
Because it's like you don't know what's going to happen here.
Especially after having to redo it once already.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. This is the point after I had given up making it in time for the competition. Like as soon as I had to try to get it off and redo it, I'm like, I'm done.
So just taking your time with it now and making the repairs.
Get it done. So now stain. Do you guys do a lot of staining patterns these days?
Patterns?
Yeah, like do you try to I know you stain stuff, I know you coat stuff, but do you do anything with particular patterns or make it look a certain way?
I don't think we've really tried that I can imagine, except for with epoxy patterns.
Usually just go with, the grain popping, from the stain, which kind of makes its own pattern.
Okay. So these are probably some different techniques than what you're used to using. So I put a couple different stains, mostly black on there, sanded it down so you can see it's making all the grain pop out.
Oh, I like that.
And then I'm going over it with the other stains and the colors that I want to blend.
Is that, I can't tell, is that black or is that purple?
So now I'm messing around with purple. I had black on there as the base.
Okay.
And then actually, I'll jump between the different colors. See, that's purple right there that I'm throwing on. And then...
Kind of reminds me of purple tiger stripes.
What tiger do you know has purple stripes?
The purple ones.
No response.
Well, I want to see one of these. We need to Google this. I don't want people questioning the validity of what you say.
I think they're called pigers.
Tigers.
Tigers.
The purple tigers.
Purple tiger. So it's like a Liger, but it's cut with color, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes complete sense.
Okay. So now we're mixing red and purple.
On top of all the black.
Is this the same color purple as before?
Yes.
Okay.
And then, that's a little spray bottle I've got there of water. I use that to kind of, if I want to make a color thinner and less bright, I'll pop some water on there. And it also helps blend the colors together. So you see there's kind of sharp lines. I went back to black right here, right? So I wanted to darken that up.
Was that to match with the Wenge, or is that just the pattern you wanted?
Just what I was feeling in my head at that point in time of what I was looking at. I'm like, oh, I think there should be a little bit of this bursting into this.
Cool. And leave a little patch of the brighter red.
Yep. And then now I'm going back over with red over there because I'm like, I actually like the way the red looks. So you can see the blend starting to happen.
Yeah, I like the mix. Did you use like a special type of stain or just one you picked up at the store?
Water-based stain I got from a company in the UK.
Very nice.
And there you can see kind of the blend of everything.
Are they a sponsor?
They're not.
Not yet. Okay.
But might be a competitor.
A competitor?
Yeah, a competitor. I buy stuff from the competition.
Ah, I see.
And guitar building company. You know.
Who better?
So, I get the best, you know. Now I'm grounding all of this. So that's shielding paint. That's conductive paint.
Okay. So that's going to, for your electronics, make sure, try and eliminate any crossover, hum, etc.
Exactly.
Are those guitar words?
Yes, hum is a guitar. It is an official guitar word. Eliminating hum. This sped up wiring. Do you guys do any wiring in any of your projects?
Not yet.
No.
Are you planning on it?
We would love, I would love to at some point.
Yeah.
All right, I should have you wire a guitar for me one of these days.
Absolutely.
All right.
Soldering and everything?
Yeah, the whole everything.
You don't even have to pay me. I'm getting a free peep show right now.
Yeah, it was hot.
I don't blame you. It was pretty bad, I'm sure, at this point.
And you can only see my rolls. Like, not exactly a flattering shot.
I'm used to it. We've played basketball together.
Yeah. Let's not tell people too much about our history.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I've been getting better at this.
I can see it. So this is a switch for the components. I'm guessing.
So that allows you to switch the pickup. So if you want to blend them, if you want just one pickup, if you want the other pickup, I was going to switch it through. That right there is the volume pot. So that will give you, if you want higher volume, if you want to cut the volume. Some people will have a tone knob as well. So if you want like a brighter tone or you want to scale it back or whatever, I keep my wiring simple. I do not use tone knobs on my guitars. I have that. Any guitars that have them, I have just cranked up. So I'm like, well, why even put it on here?
Okay. Are you planning to at some point, or does personal preference going to leave them out?
Personal preference. I've put them on before. It depends what you want on guitars.
And this was your guitar?
Yeah. I mean,
for now.
I mean, like at first I kind of thought like maybe I would do something with it, try to sell it. But there's so many concepts that are too personal for me now that I don't ever want to get rid of this guitar. I built it because I wanted to play it.
Cool.
And that's what's
That makes
happen.
sense. Yeah.
But you'll see. So I have heat shrink tubing on there that I've been popping over and stuff like that to make the connections look nicer and whatnot. So I'm trying to keep the wires short. Like I kind of measured out where those items would be going so that I don't have too many extra wires that I'm trying to cram into the control cavity. And this is actually just pre-wiring. I don't actually put the pickups on for a while. This is just getting everything ready so that it can go in the guitar. And then once it's in there, then I can wire the pickups.
So cable management is big here.
Yes. I'm not very good at it.
We don't do it at all, so.
Okay. Yeah.
You're better than us.
For those of you who can't, well, all of you viewers who can't see where we are at currently, cable management is definitely not a thing where we are.
That's fired.
Hey, it's not where I would be too. So we're on the same playing field there. You can make fun of my cable management just as much, but not on the guitar.
No.
This is guitar finishing oil.
Okay.
That I'm using. You can use it for wood in general if you want to.
Do you know what base it has?
It's similar to True Oil
Okay.
without the what's the word? Synthetic stuff.
Okay.
It dries a little bit differently than True Oil. It doesn't harden in the same way, and it penetrates into the guitar, like it goes into the wood. You put a lot of coats on, and by a lot, well, I think I put 6 maybe on the guitar.
Yeah, that seems like a lot.
With True Oil, I've put 12, 13 coats.
Wow.
Just thin. This you put on a little bit differently. So True Oil you put on very thin and let it dry, and then you just kind of build up the layers. This you also build up, but you put a lot, like you saw me just pouring it on there. You let it soak into the guitar for like 10 minutes, and then you wipe away the excess, and then you let it.
Yeah, which I feel like is a little bit more typical of a wood type finish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, the problem here, I just started wiping it right away. The problem with living in Arizona, just like with gluing, is if I let anything sit for 2 minutes, it's dry.
Yeah.
So I had to basically let this go on here and then wipe it up right away.
We found that with epoxy too. We have to do it
Epoxy.
inside.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did epoxy outside. It's at a 40-minute working time. I had 10.
Yeah, we can get into it later. Temperature makes a big difference.
Yes. Everything dries down here. Even in the current guitar that I'm working on, like when I glued that, I'm in such a rush whenever I'm gluing anything together because I'm like, as soon as the glue's down, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty much dry. Very generous with this. Trying to let the wood soak up as much of this as I can.
Reminds me of cutting boards. Is it food grade?
Oh, I would not eat off of this guitar.
Is that because it's not safe, or you like it too much?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, but not so much column A because I eat at McDonald's, and it can't be worse than that, right?
Probably true.
Yeah.
I don't know what's in their burgers.
I at least know what this wood is. I know the ingredients in the oil. So yeah, it is probably better than whatever oil they're using.
I feel like you're not going to get a McDonald's sponsor anytime soon.
Even though I eat there all the time?
I mean, you just talked about their mystery meat.
I mean, everyone knows that.
Is this a known thing?
They're not trying to hide it. They just know
Fair.
I'll eat it.
That's fair.
Which I do. So,
that's fair.
Hey, everyone else go out and eat some McDonald's. I'm ready for my sponsorship.
Not a sponsor yet.
Yeah, this video is not officially endorsed by McDonald's. But they do have 2 for $6 right now. Let's get back to guitar building. So there we are, wiping up the excess already.
Yep.
Oh
yeah, pretty much right away.
And the wood's super dry, so it just soaks it up like super fast. I really like if you look at the lines on the wood, that being a 2-piece body, I really like the look of it.
Grain lined up like perfectly.
Yeah. And there's my drawing of the very blurry 12th fret inlay. So now we're on to inlay work. Do you do any of this type of stuff?
No, not exactly.
I'm impressed. That was razor sharp. If I could kick you out of your own garage, I would. Not because of what you just said, but because I was not the one saying it. I want to be able to make puns like that.
That's fair.
So, one thing I learned in the past, I've tried to use Dremels for this work, And you'll see me use a Dremel at the end, but the first thing I do is carve out the wood. Try to get a line so that it doesn't tear out anything else.
So you're basically like roughing it out right now.
Yep. So I
Yeah.
drew it on there where I wanted it, and now I'm carving the lines into it.
So last time I think you did this on the body, you said it was fairly tedious.
Yes.
It's still pretty tedious, or do you feel like it's getting better and faster?
Wood type matters, and the amount you're doing it matters. This did not take me all that long because I didn't have to do 50 eyes or however many I put into that guitar.
Yeah.
This was, I have a couple lines. Lines that you have drawn like that are also easier to follow. So it took me an evening to do all of this.
So
probably.
for fine detail work, you would do it again.
Yes. This is fine. This is fine like that. The body, I would have to do it like that probably, but I would not want to do it.
That's fair.
And see, because I got all the lines, I could use the chisel to take out the big old part right there. And then just lots of cleanup work. And now that I've got the channel made, I wanted to widen it a little bit. So now I can use the Dremel to do that. And it's going to just basically follow the channel I already made.
Does that have I don't know the exact names of them, but the ballpoint kind of on the end?
Yes,
Okay.
this one is for wood carving specifically. I bought a couple different ones for it. And I used this on previous guitars, but I didn't have a guide in the fact that I had already channeled it out.
That makes sense. It made it a lot easier.
Yes, because it wants to follow, I guess, kind of the easiest path. So it's a lot harder for me to waver or for the wood to like catch it and take it out where you don't want it.
Yeah, we've done a little bit of the Dremel work, so definitely know it kind of sometimes tries to run on you or drift.
Yep. So if you're wanting to prevent that, if you carve out like this, if you're doing detailed work, as you can see, there we go. Got it all carved out.
Looks good.
And then next is the Inlay Powder, which I almost didn't have enough of. This is just powder I bought from the same competitor guitar building place as the stains. And so I didn't know this the first time I inlaid a long time ago. I put the inlay stuff in, and then I put the CA glue on top of it, which is the way I was read you were supposed to do it. Well, the best way is to put your CA glue in first, then mash it all down, and then put it on top.
Okay.
So it's sandwiched in there. Then there we are putting the top layer on.
So have you thought about using like epoxy before? I mean, it seems pretty similar.
Yeah, not for this, because you're going to sand it down. You don't need epoxy for the smaller, like these are just small.
Yeah.
And it works the same. I mean, like the glue takes a while to dry. It doesn't dry very quickly, but it gives you that same effect as epoxy does without having to mix anything, without all the extra work, especially when you're just doing clear stuff with it. And you can see some of it got stuck in the fret lines there, so you got to clean all that out.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, we just missed a part that I wanted to comment on. So there's my fret markers. You might ask me, at what cost?
At what cost?
It's a secret.
We won't open any closets.
I mean, I did have a razor blade in the previous
That's what I was going to say.
shot. So I've never done anything like that. So like usually inlay work is what you do for that. Actually, we'll get back to this real quick. I'm not going to comment on that.
We won't fret about it.
Nicely done.
Yes. Very, very, very well done. I'm not needed. I've never done anything to where I put it on top, so I've only inlaid stuff. So when you inlay it, it's part of it, and you sand it down, and it's all even. Well, all of this is on top. All of those marks, those fingerprints, those bloody fingerprints. And I use polyurethane, a satin polyurethane on top, and then I sanded it a little bit to basically seal it all in. Now we really are fretting because we're starting to get close to the end of the video. And also, I'm hammering in frets. I could do this too. So I used to just put them all in and then cut. And I found now it's easier to just cut them kind of as you go, a few at a time. Just hammer them in and hope for the best.
So you put them in, cut them, put more in, cut them. We're not doing any of the
finer detail work and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, just getting them in, and then I will level them.
Yeah, yeah.
There was actually a fret. I think there's one missing. See, number 13, I think it is
Yep.
missing right there. I got it in and it just stuck. It was just kept being popped out, and I think it had something to do with the wood expanding because of the glue and everything like that, or maybe the polyurethane, and even cleaning it out. Had the hardest time getting that one in, and it was still high, so it ended up being sanded down further as well. But now we're just filing the edge. It's a straight edge, just filing to level them out. You can hear when you're not on the when they're down, you can hear it switch, the sound switch to wood, so then okay, I need to stop.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Okay.
And now we're beveling, so that's an angled file.
Oh.
So it gives it a nice slant. So it just follows the fretboard and kind of slants everything. And I got tape on there to protect the tops.
Is there sandpaper on it?
It's a file. It's
Okay.
just a file.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's in at like a, I don't know what degree angle, maybe a 45-degree angle or something like that. The file's in that block, so it just runs along the edges.
Are you using a Sharpie to color those?
I am. That shows high and low spots, so when you sand it. So I'm making sure everything's flat right now, making if there's any corrections that need to be made. So once it's flat, then I sand it. So the Sharpie will show me high and low spots.
Oh.
Because, yeah, as you can see, right there's that high fret I was talking about. It's already gone.
It's a nifty trick.
I learned that from much YouTube watching.
Much YouTube watching.
Yes.
Very nice.
They didn't teach us that in the guitar class I took. Really? But it works very well. You just got to be careful to not mark your fretboard. You can mask everything off, and I will be masking everything off when I do the finer detail work.
Yeah. You can kind of see the metal filings. It looks like kind of.
Exactly.